Well, good afternoon, Jack. I'm delighted to introduce Jack, who is the big cheese as far as research with Destinations International is concerned. We've spoken on many occasions about the work you do, and it's always very interesting for almost anybody involved in travel and tourism. But what's your hot topic at the moment? What are you working on, and what have you been working on over the last couple of years?
Our two signature reports. We do the Destination Next Future study, which we release every other year. We released the most recent one last year. That is our most global report. It's actually majority filled out by non-American females, so that's great. And that kind of gives us trends and strategies across the globe, and kind of helps shape some of the other research we've done. It helps shape the project that we released this year in February. And just released additional materials on here at the annual convention, which is the study for destination promotion, a catalyst for community vitality. We want to not only position destination organizations as community-facing organizations with residents as their number one customer, but actually engaging in the community, problem solving, acting as a steward of the community, because their role has expanded so much that it now actually, their impact has expanded as much, to say that better, to include things like helping to retain talent or attract talent to destinations. Like unifying the brand for a destination. They're not only just helping drive visitors, they're driving investment. They're driving new employers. They're driving customers to a destination.
So it's sort of a halo effect of destinations.
Yeah, but even going beyond that, they're actually taking a stewardship role in terms of engaging with the community on what they want, how they want to be portrayed, and the kind of tourism they want to have come.
I know when we spoke during COVID, that was backed up by a lot of destinations saying that, when we come back, it's all going to be about destination stewardship. It's not going to be about destination marketing, and it's not going to be about the numbers. It's about the quality and so on. Have you detected in any of the research or even just conversation that has gone away a little bit, and that we've got 5,000 new bedrooms, we are at this occupancy rate, and we've made billions of dollars, and we've had more visitors than ever again?
Yeah, I still hear about the new hotel product coming online when I'm talking to people early on, but I am hearing less and less about heads and beds and putting seats in restaurant seats, and even moving the tax revenue that is driven to the second or third line when they're talking to us. Destination stewardship is really taking hold, and particularly here in North America, which has had let's say, a mixed record on things like sustainability. By wrapping it all into destination stewardship, where you're actually looking at the economic, social, as well as the environment. It's a path that they can go forward. And to the extent that they can make the case, and it's not hard to make the case, that a lot of these activities tied back with engaging with the residents, but also discovering these hidden stories, creating these authentic experiences, spreading the tourism around so that everyone's benefiting from it. It just makes a better community, and then helps to drive a better product and a better experience for both visitor and resident.
And part of that destination stewardship I would have thought, would include social inclusion advice, social inclusion research, for example. How easy is that, though, to research and to find? Because, for example, how do you find out if people have been mitigated against through they live on the wrong side of the tracks, they didn't go to the right school, they may be the wrong religion? How does that work?
In multi-layers. I mean, we start as an industry with ourselves. So the DI assessment tool that was created. And by the way, we're releasing a sustainability tool this year also. But both of those are designed to create pictures and honest results on where their organizations stand and where their communities stand, and the progress they're making against a concept as opposed to how they're doing against each other. So it provides a roadmap for them to get there. One of the values that we speak about when we talk about community shared value is this engagement, is this transparency, and is this inclusion. And when we talk about creating authentic tourist experience, we talk about, how do you uncover those hidden stories? How do you bring up the history, whether it's good or bad, but it shaped you, so you've got to address it and bring that in? How do you include more people in that story? How do you make that brand actually reflect everyone? So those are the trends I'm seeing. Those are the conversations I'm seeing, particularly in the area of indigenous tourism, where I think it's kind of a little clearer to see because there's been such obvious distrust for hundreds, 300 years, 400 years, whatever like that. So teaching people to address that situation by starting by engaging in conversation, respect, and building trust. That approach is applicable to anyone, whether they're on the wrong side of the track or not. They can tell those stories. The great thing about travel and tourism promotion is it's one of those areas where you can break through some of these conversations.
Sure. Yeah, I listened to Don yesterday, and he was making a media dinner, and he's making those points that it can be a power for not only social inclusion but breaking down barriers and actually reducing tension. Final question, because I know you're a busy man, but the sustainability tool, does that include the spectra of over tourism?
I'm sorry, again?
Does that include the spectra of over tourism in terms of? I know that there's been a lot of publicity recently with particularly European destinations taking quite strong action in terms to reduce over tourism.
Over tourism and in areas where I would say disruptive tourism. So
Yeah.
Miami Beach is a good example. I think Copenhagen is a great example where it wasn't the size of the crowds they were getting, it was the type of people they were getting. And they're basically, in the case of Miami, just saying spring breakers were no longer invited.
Yeah.
I think it was British soccer fans in Copenhagen. You're no longer invited. But we have this diagram on our website. So it's a wheel basically, and we talk about how what happens in a community starts with a visit. And if you build that place that people want to visit, then you've built this place where they want to live, or where they want to work, where they want to play, where they want to invest. And it all starts with that visit, and it's all driven by brand management and sales and promotion and community investment and stewardship of the destination. The key that we always like to underscore, and it's why we need recognized professionals in destination tourism, is because that wheel that spins drives the economy. But if the wheel is going too slow, you're going to get economic stagnation. You'll have a loss of jobs. You'll have a case where people have to move because they have to find a job, as opposed to moving because they've decided to live somewhere else. They don't have that option to stay there. On the other extreme, yeah, you can have too much tourism, over tourism. It can be over tourism at a particular time, or all out, or it could be just a mixed match of the time of tourism. Or the type of tourist. So you need that professional to keep that wheel moving, but keep it moving at the right speed, at the right time, and stuff like that. So I think us as destination stewards, I think you're seeing that as a major trend, that we're basically stepping forward and acknowledging that we have a role to play here in how we promote the destinations, who we're promoting the destinations to, when we're promoting the destination, and how do we manage that tourism impact. What is too many tourists? I think that's a legitimate question to be asked in any destination.
It is. I'll leave it with that open question. But Jack, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.